guys, welcome back to Miss Being. I hope all of you are doing great. Thanks for the support that you have shown to our very first podcast to this channel, Miss Being, wherein I talked about how you can reset your life for 2022. If you have not heard that first podcast, please do hear to that podcast. It is going to help you in changing your life in a lot many ways. So yeah, the link of that podcast is going to be in the description box below. Please consider subscribing to the channel. Miss Being here, I'm going to talk about the life lessons, motivation. We're going to do a lot of things. I'm also going to post my vlogs and various other things. All the things that you want me to do, I'm going to do it here on Miss Being. So do not forget to follow us here on the channel. I'm going to post one podcast every week for sure, at 9 o'clock on every Sunday. And also there are going to be bonus podcasts every week if you show a lot of support, right? And please follow us on Instagram. I'm there by the name Miss Being Official. Today's podcast is going to be about how to plan your day and week effectively. Now, this has been one of the highly requested podcasts here on Miss Being as well as on Logiri. So, I want to tell you that if you want me to cover any topic, or if you're facing any problem in your life, like you need motivation or there's some problem in your life, it can be related to your career, relationships, anything in life in general, you need to comment down below. I would love to cover that topic for you here on Miss Being for sure. Now, as you all wanted to know that how do I plan, I'm going to share that how do I plan. Now, I've divided this podcast into a step-by-step guide. So we are going to discuss that how you need to do it, what are the things that you need, what are the mistakes to avoid, right? And I'm also going to tell you the benefits. Obviously, one of the benefits that I have seen, I have been into this planning thing from last 3 to 4 years. So I have some experience, like I want more experience in it, but yeah, some experience. Obviously my experience is something that I'm going to share with you, and that is what is going to help you the most. From the day I've started taking planning seriously, one of the major changes that I have seen in me in my life after I have started taking planning more seriously is that I am more productive. Like I'm able to work more in less time, and that is the best thing. I'm able to handle multiple things. Like I have a YouTube channel, I have my own firm, I have a family to take care of, I have my hobbies which I am into fully, right? So I'm able to do multiple things and I'm productive, and thereby when I sleep like at night, I am satisfied with my life, that okay, what I want to do in my life, I'm doing that. I'm doing good when it comes to work. I'm doing what I want to do in my life, number one, and number two, I'm productive. So that satisfaction that you get before you go to sleep, and you have a look, you take a look on your planner and you're like, okay, fine, I'm doing great in my life. That is something really great, worth feeling, experience karne wala hai. And I want all of you to experience that, and that is why I'm going to share the secret formula, and I'm going to give you the entire recipe of planning today in this podcast. To be really frank, I have not had a good relationship with planning, because as a kid, when I was in school, I used to create a plan, paste it in front of my study table, and I would follow it like for 2 to 3 days, and after that, I'll just forget about it. And I would never follow that plan, and thereby I used to hate this word planning. I was like, kya hota hai planning? Kya hoga? What would happen after you plan? But thereafter, as I grew, I understood about the mistakes that I was committing, and I understood the benefits of planning. Right. So if you also have a very hate rate kind of relationship with planning, I am going to tell you that after hearing to this podcast, you won't have that relationship with planning for sure. So what are the things that you need? So you need a pen. You can take 2 to 3 pens. Like I take red, blue, and black. I use these pens. Wait, I have this pen. I'll read the name. It is V7 High Tech Point. Like whichever pen you love, you can use those. Like I use these for my work also, and as well as planning. If I'm using three colored pens, that makes my planning a bit easier. But on the days when I don't have three colors, I go with one. Right, keeping it simple. Now remember one thing, that you have to keep things simple, right? You need a notebook. You don't need any fancy notebook. It can be anything. It can be with lines or plain. I use a A5 notebook which is plain, and that really works for me. And then I also use flags, that is post-it. Leave the link of the post-it, the flags that I use, right? So that I mark the months and anything, so that if I'm in a hurry, I can just turn over to the page that I want to. right? I mark my month, I mark my week, and sometimes I do mark the day also. You'll understand as you hear the podcast. Now, how to start planning. In the last podcast, I talked about thinking in depth about what you want in your life, right? I hope you have a basic idea and a list of some goals at least, that what you want to achieve in life, right, in 2022. Make sure that in the beginning of this planner you make a list of that, the things that you really want to achieve in 2022. It can be anything, because when you write down your goals in the beginning of the planner, what do I do is I make sure that every month I pick up some goals and inculcate that in my planning. Like if I have set a goal that I'll be reading at least one book in a month, right? So I have written it in my goals for 2022 that I'm going to read 1 to 2 books in a month. So whenever I'm planning for the month, I pick up those goals from my list and I try to inculcate those. So this helps. The second thing that you need to do is making a list of everything you need to do in that very month, right? It is going to be different for different people. It can be, for some it would be some important meetings, for some it would be a class, like if you have joined any coaching institute, on particular days you have some class, right? That you can note. If there is some special class that you tend to forget about, you can make a note about that. For example, I have to write down about my live sessions, about my meetings with the clients, with the other partners that are there in the firm, and I sometimes also note about the wedding or important birthdays that take place, that are that take place or that are there in that month, so that I don't forget about them, because sometimes I do, and that's not something that I really like. So you can jot down everything. What to call this page? You can call this monthly goals, month at glance. I normally write down the name of the month, the year, and just make a list, like as simple as it can be. I'm telling you, you need to keep it simple. So, one of the problems that I used to face before I started planning was that, all these things, little things, or even big things used to occur to me when I was driving, when I was in the loo, when I was in this very important meeting, or when I was arguing in front of the judges, and there was this fear in my head. What if I forget about it, or what will I do if I miss out on this? Because there are certain really important things. Now, from the time I've started noting it down in my planner, and I know that I'm going to have a look, I'm going to take a look on my planner, I think life is very much easier, because I know I'm not going to miss out on anything that is important, and it has helped me in building great focus. Now I'm able to focus on the thing that I'm doing, because I know that I'm not going to miss out on anything. So that is what this list is going to help you with. Right? Now we have discussed about our yearly goals, we have discussed about our monthly goals. Now it comes to weekly goals. Now, weekly goals also, how do I start my week? Now, I write down the dates, right? For example, if today is 23rd January and tomorrow is 24th January, then I'm going to write down the 7 days, the duration, that is 24th January 2022 to 30th January 2022. That's it. That's how underneath this I'm going to create another list wherein I'm going to write down what I want to achieve in this week in particular. Obviously I'm going to copy some things from my monthly goals. If I have a meeting or webinar, then I also have my YouTube videos or drafting that I have to do, some of the important cases that only I can argue. So all those kind of things would go in here, or basically what I want to achieve in this particular week. For example, if you're going to school, or if you are going for a job, you have this particular assignment that you have to complete come what may, so you can note it down there. So that is how weekly goals come to our help. Any other goal that you can add, again, I do write down about my yoga classes, online yoga classes that I take. So I'll note down the time and the days on which my yoga class is there. I can add this to my this list, or I can directly move on to the next pages. That is my daily planning. And then, after the weekly page, I'll have that 24th January, 25th January, 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th January, separately allotted pages for each day. That's how I like it. Some of the people don't like it that way, but I like it this way because I need some good space for my planning every day. So you can add in there also directly, but a week at glance gives me another opportunity to make sure that, if I'm free, then I can have a look at the things that I have to do in that week. And if I'm free or someday, I can just pick up those things and do it maybe very early on from the day that I have decided to do those things. Right. Now comes daily planning. So, as I've already told you guys, that I give a separate page to every day in my life because that's how I like it. I want that space. So, what do I do? Write down the date on the top with the day also, because that's important for me. And thereafter, I will write down the goals or the things that I have to do. And then I'll divide the page and I'll make a plan, right? Wherein, like, before going to sleep, I make this plan that what I have to do tomorrow. For example, if I have a session or a meeting, say I have a session at 10 o'clock, right? So I will make sure that, okay, 10 o'clock is this session, 12 o'clock I have this meeting. My manager has asked me to be free from 3 o'clock to around 5 o'clock because there's this case whose number is going to come in between 3 to 5. So I need to be ready with it, right? All those kind of things. What are the other things? Maybe I divide the time, or if I don't know about the time. Now, there are days when I don't really know that at what time what I'll be doing. There are days like that. Then I'll be just noting down the things that I have to do, and I'll prioritize that this is the first thing that I have to do, this is the second thing. Say there is some drafting that I have to submit day after tomorrow to my client, or the client is going to visit my office, then I need to make sure that my drafting is done 1 day before or 2 days before the client is about to come. So that is what I'll expect of you, that you prioritize that these are the first, second, third, fourth, fifth thing that I'm going to do. I think the first 5 to 6 things, if you are able to achieve, that's great. Unless that the day is such that you have to achieve, you have to do everything that is on the list, because everything is important. There are very less days like that for me, because I again try to squeeze in my work in such a way that if I have to do things, like if I know that this podcast would go up on Sunday, I would like that by Friday or Saturday I'm done with it, right? So that is what I do. Now, I want to share one experience with you. What used to happen before I got into planning was that things used to clash, right? I have this important meeting with this client, and I have my case to argue also. What to choose? Obviously, I have to argue the case, and I have to meet the client also, right? So, this planner helps me in making sure that if someone calls me up and says, can we meet at 11 or 12? I quickly check my planner and I tell them, no, I cannot meet at 12. Maybe we can do it at 4 or 5. So this is a really good thing. This is being professional, right? And people also are going to value your time when they know that, okay, yeah, this, girl is into planning. And if she's saying that she's going to meet us at 4 o'clock, she's going to be there. So people start valuing your time, and you're also worry free that things are not going to clash for you. As a student, what might happen is that if you are not creating this list, someone comes to you and says, chal idhar chalte hain, let's go there, let's go there. But if you have a list, you know that these are the things that you have to achieve today, then you will say, no, I have work, I cannot go. So you're accountable by the end of it to yourself, and that is a really big thing. When to do the planning? Now, usually what happens is, like, if I have to plan for the week, I'll plan on Sundays, like Sunday evenings or Sunday morning. If I'm taking an off on Sunday, then also in the evening I will plan my week for sure, because if I don't plan my week, I know I'm not going to be productive. So I have to plan my week out. For the monthly planning, I plan on the last day of the previous month, right? Or if there is something that I have to add to the list, like I know that next month this is something really important, that I might start the list before also, like as it is suitable. Or what I do is, on the last page of the diary, I'll keep on noting, okay, this day, and when I'm doing my monthly planning, I'll run through that list, right? If there is something important for that month that I've noted down. So I have my list, right? For daily planning before I go to sleep, like, that's for sure. I would never like miss out on this. Before I close my work, like before I call it a day, like अब हो गया कि अब मैं नहीं कोई भी काम करूंगी, अब I'm going to chill. Before I say I'm going to chill, I'm going to create a plan for the next day for sure. Like, this is for sure. This is something I swear by. For sure. I can do one thing for you, that like for 7 days, let's do this for 7 days. On Instagram, I'm going to remind you around 7, 8. every day that, guys, please create your plan, send me your pictures. I'm also going to send you pictures that this is what I planned for the day, what have you planned, so that would make you accountable to me for a while. Right. At night, I also analyze the previous day, right? How was it? I cross out things, and that makes me feel so good. That makes me feel that yes, I've achieved something. And also, if there was something that I was not able to achieve that particular day, I'll just cross it out and write down F. That is taking it forward. That means that I've taken it to next day or some other day, or I've forwarded it to the next week, something of that sort. So again, so that I don't miss out anything important that I was to do that day, and I take it forward. Right. Now, there are certain mistakes that you should avoid. Mistakes to avoid while planning. Now, unrealistic planning. One of the biggest mistakes that you're committing, if you're planning and you're not able to achieve that plan, then obviously you are not going to have that motivation to create that plan again. You're understanding? So creating realistic plans is what is very important. Now, what I call unrealistic plans is when you don't take into consideration the amount of time that you have and the amount of work you need to do into consideration. Right. So if you have, say, 1 hour and you say, I'm going to go through each and every word of the 400 pages that are there in front of me, your planning is not real. You are planning something really unrealistic. For example, as a child, I would say one day is equal to one chapter, 1 hour. And I would never sit back and think, how would I do that one chapter in 1 hour? Right. So that kind of planning is something that you should avoid for sure. Now, one more mistake that we usually commit is not breaking the work or the goal into smaller steps. If it is a bigger goal, or if the work needs, say, 4 to 5 hours, and you don't have that on one day, and you know that you have to distribute that work over the week, then you need to create smaller steps of that main work. For example, if I have to read a book of, say, 400 to 500 pages, then I might say that every within 1 hour I can read around 40 to 50 pages of that book, I know. Then I'll say, okay, 50 pages a day and 1 hour, right? Or 40 to 50 pages a day and 1 hour, I'm going to read this book. For example, if I have to record my podcast, I know I have to find the topic, I have to, sit and think what I'm going to speak, I have to record, I have to edit. So what are the smaller steps that I've created? That I have to find a topic, I have to think what I'm going to say, and then I have to record and edit. 4 steps, right? So that's how you do it. You need to break the work that you have to do into smaller steps. Now, if I am reading a book, I think my mind is going to think that, oh, I have to read a book, big book, and that kind of thing. But if I'm writing, okay, 40 pages is equal to 1 hour, and I'm giving a fixed time slot to it, that 4 to 5, I'm going to do that for the next 5 6 days, then my mind would know that, okay, 40 pages ye ho jayega. So you're giving confidence and motivation to yourself, which is really important. That is what I want you to do. The next mistake that you should avoid is that when you miss out on planning, in the beginning, like when I started planning, I think I started planning in 2017 or 18 or maybe 16. So what I remember that when I used to miss out on planning for, say, 2 to 3 days, I won't go back. बिकॉज आई वुड थिंक अब तो हो गया ना, मतलब कंसिस्टेंसी टूट गई है. तो आई वुड सी दीज यूट्यूब वीडियोज वेयर इन पीपल आर प्लानिंग एवरी डे एंड आई एम प्लानिंग आफ्टर 4 to 5 days only. So I would tell you that it's okay. Now, if you have to be regular, you have to develop that habit, and you cannot develop that habit in a day or in a week or in a month. It will take good 5 to 6 months, or at least 1.5 2 months. So if you forget about it or anything of that sort, make sure that whenever you realize that, oh, I had to use my planner, go back and don't worry. Like, no one is going to come and check were you consistent or not. So going back is really important. Pushing yourself to plan is the key. And even if you miss out certain weeks or even months or days, don't worry about that. You can go back to your planner at any time. Okay. So guys, that's it for this podcast. I hope you found this podcast helpful. If you did, please like this video, comment down below, share it with your friends and family, and also hit that bell notification on, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to post one podcast every week at 9 o'clock on every Sunday. If you feel that there are certain things that you want to talk about related to planning or anything related to your life, please comment down below. I would love to help you out. You can also talk to me for free on my Instagram, that is Miss Being Official. I would love to talk to you guys. So yeah, that's it. Loggery signing off. If you feel any problem, if you think that there's something that is not working for you, you need to comment down below and I would love to help you out. Bye bye. Take care. See you on next Sunday at 9 o'clock for sure.